To Siman Lamed Aleph in the Mechaber says, B'Shabbos v'Yom Tiv, also laniach tefillin. You're not allowed to place tefillin on Shabbos and Yom Tiv. Mipnei shem atzmim ois, because Shabbos and Yom Tiv is already an ois. V'menichem em ois acher, and tefillin is also an ois. And if you put tefillin, which is an ois, on Shabbos and Yom Tiv, have a zilzal ois shalem. It implies that Shabbos and Yom Tov need tefillin, which they don't need tefillin. And therefore, it's also to wear tefillin on Shabbos and Yom Tov. And the Mishnah Berurah explains, Yom Tov sheini nami b'chlal l'didam b'nei chutz la'aretz. Yom Tov is not just Yom Tov, it's the second day in chutz la'aretz, has the same halachas. Now, asla nichon, then the Mishnah Berurah says, v'afil b'tiltal yeshayim gam kein da'asam loy l'tzar gufam mekayim kashar kli shmachta l'isser. It's a shayla in the Mefarshim, is tefillin muksa at all? The options are not muksa, or a kli shmachta l'isser. Now, the major relevancy would be a kli shemalachta l'isser, which is the lightest form of muksa. You are not allowed to move to save the item itself. Meaning, if I have a hammer, which is a kli shemalachta l'isser, I'm allowed to move it l'tzarech gufay, l'tzarech mekayma. Mekayma means I need the space. Gufay means I need for its permissible use. But I'm not allowed to move it if it's getting rained on and it's going to get rusty, because I'm moving it for the item's sake itself. That's l'tzarech atzma, which is not allowed. So if it's tefillin a kli shemalachta l'isser, in which case, if the tefillin are in the sun, you would not be allowed to move them. Or are they not muksa at all? And they are allowed to move them. So it says in the Mishnah Berurah, in the case of necessity, i.e. to protect the tefillin, we obviously rely on the other permissible view in order to move the tefillin. The Biur Halacha explains that this is in addition to the fact that he's going to explain in 1 second that you are allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos and Yom Tov if you're not mechaven for the mitzvah. And according to the Gra, if there's any way to wear it, it's no longer muksa. And according to the Gra, the only tzad that it would be muksa is if it's usher to put them on b'shum oifen. But if there's a way, which we paskin there is, which is shaloi l'mechaven l'shem mitzvah, because there's a way to wear them, then according to the Gra, they're not muksa at all. So anyway, according to this, the Mishnah Berurah says is makom l'mekel. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah in Gimel, that what is an ois? Shem bein HaKadosh Baruch Hu ben Yisrael, Shem ois hi beini, v'yom tov gam kein mikri ois. Fine. And therefore, if you put on tefillin, it's a zilzal. Now, the Mishnah Berurah then says in Hey, not only it is a zilzal, gam over al bal tosef. But when are you over bal tosef, and when is it a zilzal? If you're wearing it because you want to mechav the mitzvah. But if let's say you're wearing them not for the sake of the mitzvah, but let's say to protect them, whatever it is, you need to carry them, and there's no eruv. There's no zilzal, and there's no bal tosef, because you're not mechaven for the ice, and you're not mechaven for the mitzvah. It's not bal tosef. Listen, to wear b'farhesia is it's a bad optic. We're not going to allow it, but technically that'll be a permissible way to wear that on Shabbos and Yom Tov. The Mechaber then says in Beis, b'chol hamoed gam kein osel laniach tefillin mehatam hazeh ba'atzmai shemei chol hamoed gam kein ois. The Mechaber says the minhag Sfardim they do not wear tefillin chol hamoed because it's also an ois. Now says the Ramah v'yesh oimrim shechol hamoed chayiv b'tefillin. But it says the Ramah that some. Do you guys good? Okay. V'yesh oimrim shechol hamoed that it's also you should be wearing tefillin chol hamoed. That's the minhag of Ashkenaz. And to make a bracha. You read this, it's a little shocking because everyone I know do not. Okay, we'll get to it. But don't do it out loud. Make the bracha quietly. Now, says the Mishnah Berurah. Now, the Mishnah Berurah says in Vav, the Pesach achilas matzah b'sugi yeshivas hasukah, v'yishar misvila kivin shematar b'asiyas malachim minatar like a ois. The machlokes is pasha whether there's an ois on chol hamoed. Chol hamoed is weird because it's chol or it's moed. If you're focusing on the chol part, you could wear tefillin. If you're focusing on the moed part, you can't wear tefillin. So that's the machlokes whether there's an ois on chol hamoed. Sfardim and Ashkenazim. Then he says v'chalitzas tefillin sarach liyais b'chol hamoed koydem halal. Even if you wear tefillin chol hamoed, you take them off before halal. You don't wear halal, which is connected to the mayid, should not be said with tefillin on. And now he said, the Mishnah Berurah says he noticed that some people take them off during Chazar Sashatz. You just have to make sure that it doesn't share your ability to focus. Okay, now, so he says, but the minhag says the Ramah is to wear tefillin. Now, regarding the obligation to wear tefillin, Pirush, Mishum Diyesh Manichan, V'yesheim Manichem. So why is it the Mishnah Berurah says the Ramah says we make the bracha quietly? Because he says he acknowledges that there are those that don't wear tefillin on Chol HaMoed. Then he says, Yesh Levarach B'Chashay, Kadesh Lo Yav V'dei Machlokes. It's just a practical thing. You make the bracha out loud, someone's going to be like, you shouldn't be wearing tefillin, and then it's going to lead to machlokes. So just do it a little more tznius. V'chein Lo yelech ben b'rshus harem beis hakneses, and also don't walk out publicly with them. Fine. Now, why is it that nobody makes a bracha, to my knowledge, on Chol Hamoed? Uba'achroinim eskim l'das hataz, because the Taz disagrees with the Rama, and the Taz holds the Yosef Tov le'nicham b'li bracha, that it's better to put on the tefillin without a bracha. Why? He says kabracha sein ma'akvis, v'savik brachas lahakol, u'befrat shagog gra kasa she'en l'dei yeshem meikar b'shas. Meaning, because even within Ashkenaz, first of all, Sarden don't wear it at all. Even within Ashkenaz, the gra held not to wear tefillin. So why make a bracha? So the minhag is now we don't make a bracha. He says, and this is also interesting. I don't know if people are makbid about this. Those that wear tefillin Chol Hamoed should think before they put it on, it's very clever. You put it on before. You say, if I'm obligated, then I have in mind for the sake of the mitzvah. If not, then I'm just having in mind that these are boxes on my head, not for the sake of the mitzvah. Why? Because the whole issue of wearing it as an ois, a bal toisif, and zilzal is only for Cham mitzvah. So you're making it tonight. Beautiful. It makes a lot of sense. Then the Mishnah Berurah then adds, and he says, Tefillin de Rabbeinu Tam ein lanichim b'chol hamoed. Even if you wear Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam normally, you don't wear Rabbeinu Tam in Chol Hamoed. It's not appropriate to have in one shul some people wearing tefillin and some people not wearing tefillin. I'll explain in a moment why this is not as makbid anymore. And if you find yourself in a shul where you don't normally wear tefillin, you're a Sephardic guy, but you find yourself in Yekish shul, you should put on tefillin as well. Ubli bracha. And he says that tzibur should not change the minute. So why is it that nowadays we're not as makbid to have people wear tefillin in a shul that does not wear tefillin? So the Ramosha, there's a tshuva. It's not just like I could tell you theory what the answer is, but Ramosha in a tshuva that was printed after he died in the Chilik Ches of Arachaim, he says that he believes that in America these rules of Leisus Kodesh don't really apply as much as they used to. Leisus Kodesh means that it looks like the Torah has two religions, because there was a clear way, and you're sort of bringing a new mahalach that was very strange. So Ramosha said in Europe that's the way it was. In Europe, there was no sardim in certain locations. It was very sad. But, and there were certain locations in Ashkenazim. I'm sure they were broken up about it. And you know what? It was very clear the shul was a certain way. And then all of a sudden you have a random Sephardi guy who shows up to an Ashkenazi shul. He's not wearing tefillin, or he's wearing tefillin, the opposite. It's very strange. But in America, it's a mamish melting pot. In every single shul, you have different kechilas. So he says, so Ramosha says, while it's still not good, Ramosha acknowledges maybe it's not good to be in a shul like this, but he says the Indian of Leisus Kodesh, that he feels that it's much, much lessened.